So good day everyone. First, let me introduce myself. I am Limbert Santillan, and I'm from the Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English, Black B. And now I will talk about hyper poetry. So, first, have you noticed that literature is changing in the digital world? Like, you compare it to the past, we read poems in books and one line after another. But now, with technology, a kind of poetry has appeared, and that's what a hyper poetry. So, what is hyper poetry? Hyper poetry is not like other poems we usually see. It uses links, image, videos, and sounds, and even animations to make reading more exciting and interactive. So instead of reading from top to bottom, readers can click and explore different parts of the poem in their own way. So this kind of poetry give us a new way to understand and enjoy literature. So, let's now discuss what is a hyper poetry. So, hyper poetry is also known as cyber poetry. It uses computer screen as its main platform instead of being printed on paper. Uh, sorry. It lives on digital space like a website or CD-ROMs. So what makes it special is the use of hyperlinks. These clickable links that can take readers to other websites, uh, poems, or even multimedia sounds like image and moving animations. Now, let's take a look at the elements elements that make hyper poetry unique. So first, it has a nonlinear structure. So this means readers don't have to follow the poem from top to bottom. So instead, they freely move through text, image, sounds, and even animations, depending on what catches their attention. Second, it includes interactivity. Hyperpoetry invites readers to new meanings, hidden message, or additional parts of the poem. So it's not about reading, it's about exploring. So, and third, hyperpoetry is made for digital publication. So unlike traditional poems found in books, hyperpoems are published online or in digital formats. So this allows them to include multimedia features. This allows them to include multimedia features that aren't possible in print. So these elements works together to create a richer and more engaging experience for the reader. Now, let's learn the steps for making hyper poetry in a PowerPoint presentation. But there are many ways to create power presentations, like in videos. So now in this presentation, I will teach you how to make a hyper poetry in PowerPoint presentation. So the first step is, of course, the selecting a poem. So it's important to understand the emotions and themes that the poem conveys before you start to create a hyper poetry. For example, you need to find the themes such as love, loss, joy, or struggle. So if you've identified these central feelings and ideas, then you can decide how to enhance the poem with multimedia elements. Next is you need to consider the structure of the poem, how it flows, how it shifts from one idea to another, so that it can reflect in the pacing of your presentation. So next is to design the template. So this is very crucial because it sets the tone for the entire presentation. You need to select a template that complements the poem's mood. For instance, if you choose a melancholic poem, you need to select a muted tones or a minimalist design. And other examples is if you choose a more upbeat poem, you need to choose a brighter colors and a lively layout. So the key here is consistency. So you need to ensure that every visual elements feels like natural extension of the poem itself. So then the thing you need the third thing you need to do is you need to crop a title slide. So big sorry. Next is the title slide, because the first thing the audience can see, or the first thing that the audience see, is the title slide. So you need to make the title slide more striking. So you need to place it on the front or in the center, along with an image or a background that represents the poem's theme. So the title set the stage for and prepares the audience for what's to come. Next is, instead of showing the entire poem at once, you need to divide it into smaller sections. One line or verse per slide. So this gives the audience time to focus on each individual part of the poem. I would also use the design to highlight important parts of the poem. For example, during a particular emotional line, you need to change the background or add an image that resonate with the message. Next, of course, you need to sorry again. Next is to add an hyperlinks to enhance engagement. To make the presentation more interactive, then add hyperlinks, because these links could lead to external resources that offer these links leads to other resources that offer additional context or deeper meaning for specific parts of the poem. For example, you are making a poem about historical events or relates to historical events. If you what they call that? If you click the link, then it would lead to, or it would go to another video or article about what specific event that happened on that history. So that is the purpose of hyperlinks. So this interactivity helps the audience engage in the poems in new ways. Of course, is we already know this one. You need to integrate multimedia elements such as image, audio, or even video clips to complement the text of the poem. For instance, if the poem talks about nature, you should use visual landscapes or sounds of a bird or a river or an ocean. So it should connect. Next, you need to add animations and transition, because it would bring the poem to life. So to keep the audience attention, uh, it should use animation and transitions. For example, text could fade, slide across the screen, or even appear word by word to emphasize the pacing of the poem. And also you need to use smooth transitions between slides to help the poem flow naturally as it removes from one idea to the next. Okay, now can you look at these examples? Okay, that's it for my presentation. For um, more, I recommend you to watch more videos about hyper poetry so that you can learn more about it, because there are different types to make, or there are different ways to make a hyper poetry. For example, you could add a text in a video or in just pictures, just like what I show you for the examples. So that's it, and thank you for listening.